So I want to show you today how you can combine your dopamine amino acids. So in this case, I'm taking N-acetyl tyrosine, and I've got 90 milligrams or 0.090 grams, and I'm taking L-Phenylalanine, LPA. So I'm taking these two things. I've got L-tyrosine, and I've got my L-phenylalanine. And normally, I recommend that you take all amino acids separate, but the two dopamine ones, you can actually take those together and it doesn't seem to conflict or doesn't seem to have any issues. So how do you combine them together into one pill rather than taking two pills? That's what this is about. So I've got the 90 and the 64, so that's a total of 154 grams. And so what I'm looking at is, well, what capsule can I fit that in? Well, if I look to my handy dandy little chart over here, I find that, it's kind of small, but let me see if I zoom in, that when I look at the different sizes, and these are ballpark, these are not exact sizes, these are kind of ballpark sizes. So I've got 154, so I could fit it in a size 3 capsule. It would be a little bit tapped in, so it's a little bit beyond lightly filled, and I would tap the capsule a little bit and I'd fit it in. I could jam it in a number 4 capsule, barely. I could pack it in there. But if I'm doing this by hand, I don't want to be packing. I want it to just fit in the capsule. So I'm actually going to choose a size 1 capsule if I'm going to fill these by hand, and I'll show you both how to fill it by hand and how to fill it into a machine. So I'm gonna do it for a size 1 capsule today, just to show you what a manual one looks like. And so here's our scale, and we're gonna turn this on. So first I'm gonna balance it with a piece of paper on there. So my piece of paper is what I'm going to hold the powder in so I can manipulate it. And you can, if you start it off and it's not it's at 0, you put this on, you notice there's weight 0.157. We don't want that. We want to neutral out that weight. So I'm going to hit tare and make it to 0. So with the paper on, it's 0. That's what we want, because we don't want to measure the weight of the paper. Now I'm going to measure out the 90 grams of N-acetyl tyrosine, and I'm just opening up the capsule, and I'm just going to keep lightly putting it in there. And it's wobbling a bit. I could either ignore that, or I could take a little bit out. It's going to wobble. It really is a tiny bit that we're dealing with here. So that tiny bit, many capsules have variance in what they do, so that one's fine. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to grab another piece of paper. And now in this one, I'm going to put the L-phenylalanine. Now this one didn't come in a capsule. This one came as a tablet, which I don't prefer, but it's the only way that this came, and I wanted to try this one. It's different. So what I did is I've actually literally put the capsules in a blender and just blended it up until I got a complete powder. And so for this, I want 64. And so I'm just going to keep tapping this in. It's too much. Until I get 64. And I'm doing them on 2 separate pieces of paper in case I dump way too much. If I have them all mixed together, it's hard to tell which powder's which. Okay, 65 is close enough, so I'm going to just ignore that. Now, I now have my 2 things together. I'm going to merge them all into 1 piece of paper. Okay, so now I have my 154, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to now put this in a number 1 capsule. And so I have my empty number 1 capsules here. Let's grab one of those. And I'm just going to take that open. And this takes a bit of practice, but I'm going to take this and I'm going to lightly tap it so it goes into the capsule. Okay. And I put the cap on. And ta-da! There we go. So if I'm looking for the combined, this is now my combined 154, and it has both of those. So I can have one pill, one capsule, that has both the dopamines in them at the same time. So I'll take this one, I'll then wait 12 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I'll take my next amino acid, and then I'll wait 12 minutes, and I'll take my last amino acid. But these two I can take together, so there they are in one pill. And it's that simple, adding your doses together.